What is up? It's Cody here and welcome back to another video. And today we are watching top 10 convicts who showed no remorse in court. Jeez, this is gonna be something else. Make sure to like, subscribe, do all that, and let's get into it.
I am not sorry. And I am not sorry for the things I did do.
Oh god.
The world has certainly witnessed some of the most heinous and senseless acts of violence throughout history. What's more disturbing is the total lack of regret expressed by some of the renowned criminals throughout their trials. As the horrible details of their crimes were disclosed,
and there is no place for you in an open, law-abiding society.
Hold on, is
some
that
of
the
them
judge saying
mocked
that?
the court and even laughed in the face of their victims. Others had a cool, calculating approach, displaying no feeling or guilt of their conduct.
I'm not saying I regret it because
These criminals displayed blatant contempt for human life, and their trials were characterized by a sheer lack of empathy. Here are the 10 most prolific killers who showed no remorse in court.
Jeez.
Number 1. Michael Swanson. Michael Swanson's name has come to be associated with needless violence and misery. He was born in Iowa in 1993, and he suffered from mental health concerns for the rest of his life. Despite these obstacles, Swanson was intellectually brilliant. However, his potential career was cut short when at age of 17, he committed a double homicide. Swanson robbed a convenience store in Algona.
Bro, if you're committing homicides at 17, bro, there's definitely something wrong with you. And yeah, there was something wrong with this person we're saying here, but seriously, bro, committing a crime such as murder in that particular age in 17, bro, that's just unlucky. Imagine you kill 2 people and you go to jail for the rest of your life. At that point, I wouldn't want to live. I really wouldn't.
Iowa, and then shot and took the lives of 2 shop employees before leaving.
She was shot in the cheek and one.
After a high-speed chase, he was arrested in Minnesota and charged. Swanson was found guilty of the crime in 2011 and sentenced to life in prison.
And there is no place for you.
You see, this is what I'm freaking talking about. This is what I'm talking about.
After a high-speed chase, he was arrested in Minnesota and charged. Swanson was found guilty of the crime in 2011 and sentenced to life in prison.
And there is no place for you in an open, law-abiding society.
With no chance of release. He displayed no remorse for his conduct during his trial and punishment, even beaming and grinning in court. He made nasty and inappropriate remarks to the victims' relatives and showed a complete lack of empathy. At his trial for the 2 lives he took in 2010, Michael Swanson...
Nah, but the thing is, with law, if you show empathy, even if it's I think fake and they buy it, I'm pretty sure you can get out with a lesser sentence. For example, let's say that you're gonna do life in prison and you show very serious empathy towards the people, then you might get maybe a couple of years. I don't know, I'm not a lawyer.
Displayed a total lack of remorse in court. He made vulgar and inappropriate remarks about the victims and even laughed and smirked during the proceedings. Swanson's behavior in court was unexpected and infuriated many people who were waiting for a display of sorrow and an apology from him. He was asked how he felt when he committed the crime. He proceeded to say that he felt powerful.
What did you feel when you pulled the trigger? I felt powerful.
Swanson was sentenced to spend the rest of his life in jail for taking the lives of Sheila Myers, 61, and Vicky Bowman Hall, 47. On November 15, 2010, Swanson turned off the television cameras and cursed as the jury convicted him. Swanson was bad, according to the judge, and lecturing him would be futile. Swanson's solicitor said that his client had a lengthy history of mental health issues and that the deaths may have been averted if he had been given adequate medical help. Swanson is still serving his time, however, the victims' relatives continue to grieve their loss, hoping that
Well, I mean, he got life in prison, correct? So I think if you have a mental condition, then you theoretically you could get a lesser sentence if I am not wrong. Believe it or not, I don't know.
will one day express genuine regret for his acts. Swanson's case is a terrible reminder of the impact that one person's actions can have on so many people's lives. Number 2, Ronnie O'Neal. Ronnie O'Neal is an American man who rose to prominence after being arrested for taking the lives of his girlfriend and their 9-year-old daughter in 2018. The horrible incident shocked the entire town, and many people wondered how someone could do such a heinous atrocity. O'Neal grew up in Florida and had difficult upbringing. He had a history of substance abuse and had previously been in conflict with the authorities. Despite these obstacles, O'Neal was able to retain a job and provide for his family. Unfortunately, something snapped in 2018. His conduct got increasingly unpredictable and his behavior became increasingly erratic. O'Neal assaulted his girlfriend with a knife and a gun in the night, taking the life of her and their daughter. Afterwards, he set fire to their residence. O'Neal was subsequently apprehended and charged with first-degree murder on 2 counts. During his trial, he defended himself.
The evidence is going to show he did not see me shoot his mom.
And made outlandish accusations that were made part of a police Illuminati plot. He also expressed no regret for his conduct, stating that his girlfriend and kid were sacrificed for the greater good. When he asked his son in front of the court that did he beat him, to which his son replied yes.
Did I hurt you that night of this incident?
Yes.
Afterwards, Ronnie started to yell loudly, saying that they were playing a fraudulent recording of him.
If you think I'm here to play around with y'all, goddamn it!
Despite his attempts to defend himself, O'Neal was
Seriously, that hair is flopping around like crazy. That low-key makes me uncomfortable, not gonna lie.
found guilty. He was also accused by the prosecution of inventing evidence. Once he was found guilty, the judge went on to add that this was the worst case she'd ever seen in her life.
This is the worst case I have ever seen as far as the facts go.
And she'd seen quite a few atrocities. He also indicated that he was not sorry for what he did. O'Neal was sentenced to 3 life terms plus 90 years without parole. And his kid was adopted by the detective who cared for him the night Ronnie O'Neal attempted to stab him. Several have criticized O'Neal's ability to defend himself in court, claiming that he was not mentally competent, and yet he kept on yelling. Others have questioned the legal system's efficiency in dealing with people like O'Neal who suffer from mental illness and are violent. Whatever the outcome of these disputes, one thing is certain.
Bro, is that him? That does not look like him. Bro, how many stains on your shirt do you have to have, bro? You look like you just ate some fresh French fries with ketchup and just, you're one of those people that as soon as they eat something, they just wipe it off their shirt. Nah.
O'Neal's lack of remorse for his acts has had a long-lasting impact. However, his son will live a safe and prosperous life now. Number 3, Randall Moore. Randall Moore better...
Oh, sorry. Hey, Johnny, what does your dad do? Oh, sorry. My dad does prison. Nah, I'm just thinking about it.
Known as Randy is a convicted criminal who rose to fame after being arrested for taking the life of his wife. Moore abducted, assaulted, and took the life of his estranged wife in November of 2009, a month after she sought a protection order against him. Moore also shot Des Moines police officer Todd Rowland as he reacted to calls for aid emanating from the couple's former flat. Moore, who was charged with first degree, displayed no remorse during his trial, stating that he had taken the life of her wife in self-defense. Nevertheless, court testimony revealed that the victim was unarmed and had been shot many times at close range, calling Moore's allegation into question. Notwithstanding his denial of guilt, the evidence produced in the court called his defense into question. Moore's lack of remorse and attempt to rationalize his conduct, together with the facts presented in court, indicated that he indeed committed a cold-blooded crime. Sheila Lynch had been waiting for Randall Moore's sentence for more than a year since he took the life of her daughter, Teresa Ann. She told Moore, "What you did to my daughter was horrible, terrible, and despicable."
You did to my daughter, Teresa Ann Marie Lynch, was evil, hateful, and despicable.
Lynch said in a victim impact statement given at Moore's sentence.
You are now dead and rotting and repulsive to me.
Since you couldn't take away her spirit, you took her life. To which Moore replied, "Examine the journals. She despised you. She despised you."
Read the journals she wrote. She hated you.
Thank you, Judge.
She hated you.
Thank you.
You're a loser.
Moore was also given the option to make a statement before being sentenced. He attempted to rationalize taking the life of his son's mother for more than 10 minutes. I feel absolutely no regret for Teresa Ann's death. These words from Moore elicited gasps from people in the courtroom at points. I hope there are more examples like this when people don't want their spouses to see their children, Moore added.
Bro!
I hope it becomes more common. When responding to Moore, the judge warned the court that he could not breach the line of judicial decorum. I believe what I've heard. Novak gave 3 life terms to Moore for the crimes against Teresa Ann Lynch. Moore in 25 years in jail for taking the life of Officer Rowland. You give new meaning to the word evil. I've never seen anything like you, Novak, the judge added. Outside the courthouse after the sentencing, a weeping Sheila Lynch said,
who showed no remorse. Is this supposed to be like a recent thing or like something in the 1980s? Because I'm looking at her through a screen that looks like I'm streaming in 144p right now. What is this camera quality, bro? And I know I'm not tripping. It should be the camera quality. What is this 19 something something? I have no idea. The camera quality just looks so old.
The day went better than she could have imagined. Her daughter's assailant has been apprehended and her family is moving on. Number 4, Keith Ferguson. Keith Ferguson belonged to Kalkaska County in Michigan. He was a family man with 4 children. However, he was convicted.
Wait. Okay, the family overall is pretty good, but you see that girl on the far left, she looks like she's been through some shit. I'm sorry, but as young as she is, she looks like she's been through some stuff, bro. Not gonna lie. The scrawny kid with the glasses underneath there.
Taking the life of his wife, Tiffany. It was reported that she filed for divorce in September, according to court documents, but the divorce had yet to be finalized. According to the investigators, there was a divorce pending between him and his wife, like I just said, and there were certain things that happened between the two of them that probably set him off. Keith Ferguson reportedly took his wife's life using a firearm on November 18th at their home in Cold Springs Township, then took his 4 children, ages 3, 9, 11, and 13, to their grandparents' home in Excelsior Township. While attempting to take children as hostages, he shot and took the life of their grandfather, Weber. The children fled to a neighbor's house for assistance who was shocked to hear what had happened. However, this neighbor happened to be a Calcutta Sheriff's deputy, who contacted 911 right away. At the same time, Keith Ferguson also contacted 911 from his house in Orange Township, saying he had a captive and threatened to shoot any responding authorities. Keith Ferguson was safely apprehended after a 7-hour standoff at a residence on Gold Road in Orange Township. He did not hurt the captive he was holding at his house. After being arrested, he showed very little regret for what he had done. Keith A. Ferguson, 40, of Kalkaska, was arraigned in Kalkaska District Court for his crimes. Ferguson was sentenced in the morning by a judge who stated that there was something fundamentally wrong with him. He kept on cursing the judges and everyone present in the courtroom. When the victim's friend told the court how she warned her friend Tiffany about Keith, he said, "Just sentence me, whatever."
Understand me? I'm not doing this in front of these stupid cameras and these inbreds.
When asked about his relations with his children, he showed no interest in meeting them in the future. Ferguson was charged with first degree and was given a life sentence with no chance of release. He was also to be denied any contact with his 4 children, but an official revealed that the children are older. They will be permitted to write letters to their father. The prosecution of the victim's family openly expressed their satisfaction with Ferguson's punishment. Number 5, Thomas Michael. Thomas Michael T.J. Lane is a convicted criminal who garnered global attention in 2012 after he opened fire at Chardon High School in Ohio. Lane's actions startled the entire neighborhood. He was born in a tiny village in Ohio and reared there. He had a difficult life with a background of substance abuse, violence, and mental illness. Lane's father was likewise imprisoned for...
Bro, wasn't this guy the last one you just saw? And the guy on the left does not look like he'd do a crime. Like, in my eyes, he just looks like a regular 15-year-old kid, honestly. I mean, maybe he is. You never know. But I think they said that he's an adult or something.
Numerous offenses, leaving him feeling alienated and furious. Lane was able to attend high school despite these obstacles, where he became regarded as a loner and an outcast. Lane entered the cafeteria at Chardon High School on February 27, 2012, and opened fire, taking the lives of 3 students and injuring 3 more.
One American town, Chardon,
The tragedy stunned the town and ignited a national debate about skun ghoul violence.
I bet she's gonna
Lane
get the death
allegedly
penalty.
exited the building after the incident. According to the witnesses, he was chased out of the building by a teacher and detained a short while later outside the school. Lane was eventually charged with 3 charges of aggravated deaths, 2 counts of attempted deaths, and 1 count of felonious assault. He was kept as a juvenile at first, pending further judicial proceedings. Lane showed little remorse for his crimes during this trial, frequently grinning and making vulgar gestures in court. He even showed up to court wearing a t-shirt with an inappropriate word inscribed on it. Lane's defense team contended that he was mentally ill at the time. However, Lane decided to cross all boundaries. He started to curse the victims' families and the judge in the room. During the hearing, prosecutor David Joyce stated that he would prosecute Lane as an adult and bring 3 counts. At the hearing, Lane acknowledged firing 10 rounds of ammo during the incident. He also informed cops that he didn't know about the victims and they were chosen at random. Yet a witness who claimed to have known the disturbed teenager knew several of the victims.
He does look like one of those emo kids that aren't really emo kids but try to be emo kids because they think emo kids are cool. So, nah, his hair is just funny, bro. I don't care about the glasses. It's more or less of his hair, though.
Lane pled guilty to all charges against him, acting as if he didn't care about the consequences at all. Moreover, Lane and 2 other offenders escaped from Allen Oakwood Correctional Facility in Lima, Ohio in September of 2014. However, they were caught shortly after. As for their survivors of the Chardon High School, they continue to advocate for tougher gun legislation and harsher sentences for criminals like TJ Lane. Number 6. Gary Leon Ridgway. Gary Leon Ridgway, often known as the Green River Killer, is a serial criminal from the United States. He was convicted of taking 49 lives, making him one of the most wanted serial criminals in U.S. history. His family life was problematic, relatives regarding his mother as controlling, and he witnessed more than one violent confrontation between his parents when he was young. Gary was dyslexic and was put back a year in high school. He was 16 when he stabbed a youngster who survived the incident.
16.
Gary graduated from Thai High School and married Claudia Craig.
Nah, the thing is, how the heck you're 16, you killed someone, and you just moved on with life and graduated and ended up marrying someone. Like, how does that happen? Don't you have to go to like a juvenile delinquent camp or something since you're like 16 and technically can't go to jail? Because there is no way you're gonna be killing someone under the age of 18 and that's just, you're not gonna hold a court case. Maybe they are and we're not just listening to it, but still though.
19-year-old high school lover. He joined the U.S. Navy and was stationed in Vietnam, where he served on a supply ship and witnessed the action. Ridgway caught gonorrhea and got really angry because of this. Hey
yo, where did you get that disease from? Your girlfriend? Or your girlfriend wasn't in the Navy too? But where the hell would you even get gonorrhea? Cause that's an STD, bro. Who do you gotta be beating to get the G's, bro? Who? Tell who?
Was further fueled after a year when his marriage was over. After that, he had 3 ex-wives and several girlfriends. Gary was arrested on suspicion. However, that suspicion unraveled a long list.
Nah, he should have gotten arrested the moment he killed someone at 16, bro. That's just me, but he should have gotten arrested way earlier.
Crimes. Ridgway had been charged with several deaths and had been transferred for a maximum security cell at King County Prison to an Airway Heights minimum medium security level tank. He pled guilty to 48 counts on November 5th, 2003.
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Ridgway said in his statement accompanying his guilty plea that he committed the crimes and then transported and discarded the women's bodies near Portland to mislead the authorities. In court, he showed no remorse and continued to say that this was his career. He confessed to taking the lives of 49 women in Washington state between 1982 and 1998.
Yeah, but the thing is, why did he kill only women, preferably? Oh, I think the reason why he caught gonorrhea is because maybe he, unspokenly quote unquote beaten them and killed them, I guess, because that's the only thing I can think about at the time.
He was sentenced to life in prison with no chance of release in 2003. He evaded the death penalty by offering to disclose information about his crimes and assist detectives in locating the victims' bodies. Ridgway's sentence assures that he will spend the rest of his life in prison, serving as a reminder of the heinous acts he perpetrated and devastation that he caused to the families of his victims. One by one, he counted all 49 people whose lives he had taken and showed no regret until the judge finally said Gary Ridgway does not deserve our forgiveness. He is unworthy of life. The judge also ruled that he was not mentally challenged and was sane at the time of his crimes. Number 7. Tommy Lynn Sells. Tommy Lynn Sells, popularly known as Coast to Coast Killer, was a prominent American serial criminal who took the lives of many innocent people in the United States. He grew up in a dysfunctional household. He claimed to have been mistreated physically as a youngster and fled his family when he was only 16 years old. Around the age of 7, Sells began consuming alcohol on a regular basis from his maternal grandfather's supply stockpile. Within a year, he was socializing with Willis Clark, an adult man who Sells claimed began assaulting him. Sells alleged that his mother approved of the connection, which frightened and negatively harmed him. Sells began his crime spree when he was still a teenager. He took a life for the first time when he was only 18, and he proceeded to take people's lives throughout his adult life. Sells was a vagrant who traveled across the country for the sole purpose to commit crimes. His actions were frequently spontaneous and unpredictable, and he preyed on people of different ages, colors, and genders. Sells' criminal spree came to a stop in 1999 when he was apprehended in Del Rio, Texas, for taking the lives of Kayleen Harris. Sell had broken into the Harris family's house and stabbed Kayleen in her bed. He also assaulted Kayleen's friend, Kristen Huddle, who survived and was able to identify Sells as the perpetrator. Sells admitted to many more offenses without hesitation after his arrest. One time, Sells smiled and said that for the first time he committed the crimes, it was such a rush. Sells proceeded to list his misdeeds and claimed to have taken up to 70 lives, while the precise number of victims remains unknown to this day. In Texas, Sells was finally convicted of his crimes and condemned.
Wait. If this guy does not get the death penalty, I don't know what to say. Because life in prison, yeah, is good for a person like him, but unlike the last guy who got 49 kills, this guy got 70. You don't realize 70 people is a lot. That's literally next to like a Fortnite lobby right there.
To death in 2000. He was also accused of other crimes in Arizona, California, Florida, Illinois, Kentucky, Missouri, Nevada, New York, Oklahoma, South Carolina, and other places. He was never tried or convicted of these crimes, though. Sells' story serves as a reminder of the horrors that serial criminals may inflict. His acts were heinous and mindless, leaving a path of destruction in their aftermath. Number 8. Joseph Paul Franklin. Joseph Paul Franklin was an American serial criminal who was known in the late 1970s and early 1980s for a series of crimes. Franklin, who was born on April 13, 1950 in Mobile, Alabama, grew up in a difficult environment and was exposed to bigotry and violence at a young age. He eventually became a white supremacist.
Nah, like, look at this, bro. He's one of those people that probably pick their boogers and eat them, bro. These are one of the niggas that legitimately pull out their freaking hair. Those lips are so chapped, bro.
And his actions were motivated by his extremist ideas. Franklin's first known crime happened in 1977 when he shot and took the life of 2 young black American males in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Man, why is it gotta be the niggas, man? Come on. Like, is this a coincidence or is this just... Nah, come on, bro.
He subsequently embarked on this crime spree, specifically targeting interracial couples and individuals he suspected were Jewish because he thought that Jews were trying to take over the government. He thought that Jewish civilians were Zionist agents. Franklin's most renowned crime was a shooting spree at a synagogue in Skokie, Illinois in 1980. During a bar mitzvah...
Nah, if you shooting at a church or a synagogue or any place of worship, bro, you are gonna get pounced on. both by religious people, non-religious people, and dare I say people up there, bro. Nah, you need Jesus if you do that.
But he opened fire, taking the life of one person and injuring numerous others. He also admitted to shooting and paralyzing adult film creator Larry Flint's aide.
I just put the gun right on the biggest dude first, you know, and
well, if the guy was big, then he couldn't have chased you. Cause who the hell is gonna chase a guy carrying a gun, and you're a fat ass? Like who? No one.
you know, fire one shot.
In an assassination attempt on Flint in 1980. He said when he first saw the magazine in which they had portrayed an interracial couple, he felt sick. Franklin was apprehended in 1980 after being stopped for a traffic violation and discovered to be in possession of guns and other dangerous weapons. Via ballistics evidence, he was eventually linked to other crimes, and he also confessed to more than 20 homicides in total. But he was accused of carrying up to 16 other further crimes, including the attempted assassination of civil rights activist Vernon Jordan. Franklin attempted to flee during the verdict of his 1997 Missouri trial on charges of taking the life of Gerald Gordon. He was found guilty of the accusation. Dorothy Otnow Lewis, a psychiatrist who had questioned him extensively for the defense,
I admitted it, yeah. And I admitted today I was wrong to try to shoot Larry Flint.
Testified that she felt he was a paranoid schizophrenic and unsuitable to stand trial. He gave many interviews to various media outlets. He said what he had was a request from God, and it was his mission to get a race war started. According to 3 media witnesses, Franklin
Bro, if you're gonna say something about God and you shoot a place of worship, just don't, bro. Nah.
did not appear to be in agony. Missouri declared that he would employ a new form of lethal injection for Franklin's execution because of the complexity of his crimes and lack of remorse. Number 9. Michael Elijah Adams. Adams is a Michigan native with railroad track tattoos. Grew up in an abusive household and left home at 14 to start riding trains on his own.
14, bro. 14. For 14, you should be playing Fortnite, bro. For 14 in the people that have poor homesteads should be playing outside, going to school, bro. Not leaving your home, going to ride out in a train that's taking you to God knows where.
He claims to have met one of the founding members of the Freight Train Riders Association, FTRA, a gang of hardcore drifters that is now mostly extinct, aboard one of these trains. That individual allegedly took Adams under his wing and helped him advance through the ranks of the gang until he finally became an enforcer, assaulting and even taking the lives of people who interfered with the group's narcotics dealings or insulted its code. A railway rider who took the lives of 16 fellows faces life in prison, but he seems unconcerned. Adams was arrested in Oregon in May 2011 when officers broke up a brawl between drifters and discovered that Adams had an open warrant in California for the death of wanderer John Smellier Owens. Owens' body was discovered in January 2000 on a gravel service road that passes through a rail yard in Roseville, California. Michael Elijah Adams, alias Crazy Mike, claims he's proud of what he's done and is looking forward to 3 hots and a cot during his retirement to a Virginia jail cell. Adams pled not guilty to second degree 6 months after his arrest and was sentenced to 15 years to life in prison. However, he was not bothered by the sentence. During one of his interviews, he said, "We were the alpha dogs. We kept close to the border.
We were the big dogs. We stayed on the border. We were the violent ones. I mean, guns, drugs, and girls.
We were the violent ones with weapons, narcotics, and females." In the court, he didn't care about his 30 years being wasted. Before his life on the rails came crumbling down, Adams dodged investigators for over 30 years. "Everything excellent must come to an end," he replied. It started becoming heated, bodies began to pile up, and questions began to be asked. He had no regret for the point where he attempted to escape prison.
And took care of it.
I'm proud of what I did.
However, fortunately, he was caught and transferred to a maximum security prison. Adams is eligible for parole in California after 15 years. Virginia prosecutors want to keep him.
Man, nigga, you're going to Baki, the place where Baki beat Mr. Biscuit, bro. You're going to Baki's prison. Nigga, I don't care what you are. You felt good about killing someone. Nah, something to Arizona State Prison, bro. Nah, give this man the worst.
in the state indefinitely so he may complete his whole life term. All they need now is the governor of California's approval. Adams claims he is now working on a book with an author and that a major magazine is interested in publishing a piece on him. Number 10. Kamiya Gamut. Kamiya Gamut, sometimes known as Kamiya Marie, is an American woman who shot and took the life of her lover, Marcella Hill, in 2013. Gamut.
Yeah, I see why she take his ass, like.
And that a major magazine is interested in publishing a piece on him. Number 10. Kamiya Gamut. Kamiya Gamut, sometimes known as Kamiya Marie, is an American woman who shot and took the life of her lover, Marcella Hill.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, I know he's trying to smile, but I feel like one of his eyebrows is brown and one of his eyebrows is black, though. Nah, yeah.
In 2013, Gamut, who was born in 1985, grew up in a dysfunctional environment with a history of violence and trauma. She also had mental health concerns and a criminal record that included assaults and violent offenses. Before the incident, Gamut and Hill had been dating for roughly a year. Their relationship was marked by violence and cruelty on both sides, according to court filings. Gamut was a tyrant who had previously assaulted Hill with a knife. Gamut assaulted Hill at his Michigan residence in May 2013. Gamut claimed that the crime was committed in self-defense, but with the evidence proved otherwise. Hill had 11 stab wounds, 6 of which were in the back. She also assaulted him with a table leg and a frying pan, inflicting serious head injuries. Gamut was convicted of first degree during her trial and sentenced to life in prison without the chance of release. The savagery of the crime, as well as Gamut's history of abuse and mental health concerns, drew worldwide attention to the case. However, her behaviors afterwards showed that she didn't regret anything. She continued.
Let me guess. She pulled a knife out of her ass and killed the judge. I'm gonna say that.
Ranting throughout the court proceedings. She would see roll her eyes and even smiling as family members read a letter to Gamut. She continued to speak until the judge replied, "You're going to close your mouth or you're going to have duct tape placed on it."
When your eyes and even laughing.
And you're going to shut your mouth or I'm going to have some duct tape put on it.
Well,
Okay, we'll wait here for a bit to get her quiet. Gamut and her solicitor recognized that a life sentence was only a formality. "I realize you have to do what you have to do. I agree with the family. I hope you die in jail as well, and if this were a death penalty state, you'd be in the chair," the judge remarked. According to the family, justice is served with a lesson for all. Abuse may take many forms, regardless of gender. Gamut's example raises serious concerns regarding the relationship between domestic abuse and mental health. It also proves the importance of good intervention and assistance for those who are dealing with mental health difficulties and have a history of trauma and misconduct.
Damn! That was honestly a really good video and very long. It lasted like 32 minutes anyway. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Comment down below what other video I should react to and stuff like that. We're gonna be dropping new content with new equipment and stuff like that. And anyway, today at least I didn't talk as much as the last one. But anyway, guys, I will see you guys on the flip side. Stay saucy.